Alright, y'all, I'm back. Now, I was going to the Kroger to pick up some groceries, a couple of items. But back to my story with the thieving Grub Hub driver who's stealing orders from other drivers. Not other drivers, stealing from me. Now, that's when I get offended. That's when I get really offended. Is when I come and pick up an order and you're the same guy who goes to this fire sub on La Vista up there in Tucker. Now, I know it's dark because I'm driving. So if you just, I don't know where you from, Ethiopian or some parts, one of those African countries. We got curly hair. You're a thieving, lying thief, and you keep going into this fire stub off of La Vista, or in Tucker rather, Lawrenceville Highway to be exact. Between La Vista and Lawrenceville Highway, right next door to the Five Guys, next to Riverside Pizza. Now, you go there all the time because they already told me that you go in there all the time, and you always do that all the time, and you take up other people's orders. And if you think that you're gonna get away with that bullshit, you got something coming. You got something coming. Some people, they be acting slick. They know the train's coming and they'll be trying to go around the train anyway. So you come in there all the time, you keep picking up the wrong order, and you do it on purpose. Because, number one, that was a short ride. Not that long. Anyway, so you come in there to the fire sub place and you keep picking up the wrong orders, and you keep mentioning the customer's name, and you keep picking up the wrong order. Now, I know what your gig is. See, y'all think you're slick. Y'all think you're trying to hang around at this. First of all, you're not even working on a block. I know you're not working on a block, because if you're not working on the block and somebody else is closest that's on a block, they're going to unassign you the order. They're going to unassign it, and they're going to give it to the other person. Even though you may have been there and you saying, and it shows on your screen that you picking up for so and so and so, and you don't look back at your phone and you see that it's been unassigned, and you drive on to that person's house, trust and believe, you're not going to get paid for that trip. And if you this guy, I can't remember, I sure wish I had captured his name on my phone when they showed it to me. I may go back there tomorrow. See, now y'all think you're slick, trying to hang out at the dang place, and then hang out and park, and then when they get Grub Hub orders coming in, you right there to pick up the order. And y'all want to play that slick game? Trust me, I can play that slick game too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. When I start my block, I'm supposed to work almost all day tomorrow for like 7 hours tomorrow at Grub Hub. And I'm gonna stay right there at that Tucker. I can't see what you say. Hey again, I'm back. My phone went dead and I went into the grocery store, so I'm back. So it's this guy, he keeps picking up the wrong order when he goes to pick up for Grub Hub. And picked up my order that I could have picked up. They told me it was $20. And then when I get there, they talk about somebody else picked it up. I'm like, who the hell picked up no food? And then after that, I called Grub Hub, and then they looking at me like, they're telling me I had 20 orders all day. 20? What 20 orders did I had all day? I said, I ain't had no 20 orders. Well, you had, we could assign up to five orders at one time to anyone. When? Because I ain't never got 5 orders at one time. You know, they be just lying through their fucking teeth. You know, I'm like, I got an order, 3 other orders, after I was on the phone. Hey, after I was on the phone with them for 10 minutes, telling them that I'm at the place to pick up the order, and it's already been taken, and someone else got it, and y'all screwed up. They could never admit that they, Grub Hub could never admit when they screw up. And then logistics are bad, because even the person at the dang Firestone, he said that Grub Hub logistics is terrible. He said Uber Eats logistics is so good, but I said they don't pay shit though, because they spend all, they focus more on that technology, that they got that thing down packed with Grub Hub. Now if Grub Hub technology could apply to Grub Hub, if Uber Eats technology could carry over to Grub Hub, trust me, it would be almost perfect. But Grub Hub don't have the logistics. They don't. And this is the person at the dang restaurant told me that. And I've heard this many of times. They said that Uber Eats logistics is so good, it's like you don't even have to be worried about picking up food and going through some crazy stuff when it comes with Grub Hub. Now, it may be good in the sense of how they got that thing down packed in regards to people going to the restaurants and how long it's going to take them to pick it up and everything else. But I know one thing. Hey, Shelly Show. If Uber Eats could get that dang pay structure in order, because these people are still not tipping, for real. They are not tipping for shit. I could write a note, email, before I hit that delivery button, say thank you for using Uber Eats today. The booking fee is not paid to the driver. We appreciate, tips are highly appreciated. They act like they ain't even read that. They act like they ain't read it. You know, they keep messing around. These customers keep messing around and thinking that people's gonna be picking up their food and they be giving them their orders and dropping off food real quick. You know, they're gonna get old real quick. And let me tell you, it's gonna get old real quick for black folks and these Mexicans and people who act like they don't want to tip. When they realize nobody's picking up their food and saying why it's taking them so long and they ain't got nobody to pick up their food, they'll know. You know. You know, this one girl I bumped into when I was doing my Uber Eats for the double, for exact speed, that double order, which I only got $4.34. And that fool didn't want to come stand out the door so I could give him those 3 ass. I had 6 drinks. And I was telling him, can he come out to the door so I could know where he at. I didn't say come to the car. I said just stand out the door. No. Man, I just drove off. I said I'm sitting here looking for you in your apartment complex and you think I'm supposed to walk around with 6 drinks in my hand and all you gotta do is stand out the door. I was looking around looking for the apartment. People think they slick. They don't want to put their full information on there, and they thinking you're supposed to go over loops over this, looking for I can't see what you wrote. See what you're saying. I have to read your comments once I stop. I'll read your comments once I stop because I don't know what you're saying. I'm not going to drive and read at the same time, so I'm going to read it. So, but with Grub Hub, let me go back to Grub Hub and then I'll get off of that topic. Grub Hub, you could work and turn on the app and get deliveries, but you're taking a risk that they could unassign it from you and you won't get paid. So I know there's a big debate about you could work off, some people tell me they could turn on the app and work off the block and this and that or whatever, but don't do it. Now the only reason why I would work off a block is, say I had a 2-hour block and I turn on Uber Eats and I'm not getting anything with Uber Eats, and I say, you know, let me turn on Grub Hub and see if I get an order, and if it's a good order like $10 or $12 or more, then I will just continue to do Grub Hub and deliver it. But that's how I would do it. I would never not work with a block. But if I wanted to work more than the guarantee, I would just simply say, you know what, let me take a couple more orders and call it a day. And that's it. That's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. I would do it when I had already had a block and the block was over, and then I would keep on working after that and try to get the revenue, because you can work off, you can't take the orders if you don't have a block, but you have to think about it. If there's not enough orders out there and there are drivers who are assigned to a block and you're out there like working and there's nothing, and somebody else comes and grabs a block or grabs it, or think they're trying to hang out at the restaurant or just trying to sit there, because you know Firehouse Sub Place, they have Uber Eats and Grub Hub. And anybody know that if people wanted to order food, they're gonna just hang around at that whatever restaurant and they're gonna just hang out right there and wait and get some orders. And then when they get a ping, then they walk in there and then the person will hit ready for driver, and then they'll get the order if you just stand in there. Now you could do that with Uber Eats too. You really could. Some people have been doing that. They've been going to that wing place up the street. They do like 20 deliveries maybe for Uber Eats, and all they do is hang out right there back and forth, and they do that all day long. And I'm not trying to spoil your hustle, but let me tell you, I'm gonna be the spoiler, because when you see, I don't live too far from a lot of these restaurants and stuff that I know that's on a regular basis, but you know, I try to go wherever it leads me. Wherever it leads me, I go and do that. But that's just too much. That's too much. Especially when people try to play with the app. See, that's what a lot of people do. They play with the app. They'll go there to the place, drop off the food, turn it off, go right back to the whatever restaurant, sit there and wait, drop it off, turn it off, and then keep going back and do it. You know, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that tomorrow. I'm gonna try that tomorrow. But I got several blocks tomorrow with Grub Hub. I think I got 11 to 1, 3 to 5, 7 to 9, or something. I know I got at least 3 or 4 blocks tomorrow. But this person, you sit up in here stealing bags and stealing orders from drivers, don't be shocked when they say it's unassigned, and next thing you know, you driving and you ain't getting paid for that delivery. That's what they told me, the risk of doing that. The risk of picking blocks up, the risk of working without a block is that you could get a block, you could pick up an order, drive, and they could unassign that order and give it to somebody else. Somebody else picked up the order. You pick up the order, it was assigned to initially, but you driving with the bag, and they could unassign it to you right off from your feet, from under your feet, and assign it to me. And then I get there to pick up the food, and they talk about, oh, this person already left with the food, you know. And then after that, I call Grub Hub and said, well, someone already got the food, and what happened to it? And they're not gonna pay me. You're not gonna pay me for coming to the restaurant, and I'm supposed to pick up the food? Hell no. Now you messing with my money. I don't give a damn about, oh, if you got 85% and you still get the $10 guarantee. Bump that. If it was a $20 order where I'm supposed to get a delivery fee plus the mileage plus the tip, it is equal $20, I'm supposed to get the whole entire thing. Not because somebody else stole it unassigned, and then it comes to me, and then the restaurant is looking at me like, well, somebody already left with that food. I'm like, what the hell? You know, it just is crazy. I mean, Grub Hub needs to make up their mind. If you're going to do blocks, then let people work a block, and don't turn on the app and work off the block. If you're gonna not do it anymore with the blocks and let people turn on the app whenever they want and make money based on revenue of driving, then fine, do that. Do that. Because for one thing, making $10 an hour and driving 60 miles, or driving that, because you don't never know how many true miles you're driving, because when you go into the restaurant, that doesn't count towards the pay. It's only from the restaurant to the person's house that you know how many miles you've driven at the end of the day. But there are a whole lot of other miles that's dead miles that's not accounted for, and that goes for driving people too. That goes for people too. You know. See, Uber want to concentrate so much on, oh, you'll still get a cancellation fee if the person doesn't get to your car or come out the house, and you could cancel after 2 minutes and you get a cancellation fee. How long you think that gonna last? Because a lot of people, there's somebody out on YouTube now, it's this white guy. Let me tell you what this fool does. And they got the nerve to make a lesson plan out of it and trying to sell it to people. How to make money with Uber without picking up passengers. I mean, let me tell you what this fool did. And he got a video out there on YouTube. Look it up. He's some white guy, middle-aged white man. And what he does is he puts on, and he does this with Lyft too, Uber and Lyft, but I saw him do it because he had a demonstration. What he does is he will get an Uber order, not order but food, but he will get an Uber request, and he will go to the person, drive towards their house or wherever they at, and then he will be 1 block away and he will cancel on them. Cancel. And then he'll turn around and get the cancellation fee, and he would do that constantly. So he tells people the way to make money with Uber is accept the drive, go to the person, look on the map, you like right around the corner, and then you're supposed to turn around and you cancel on the person and you keep going. No, you get to the you don't even get to the person's house. You 1 block away, you hit except like, you know, like he picked them up, drive away, and then turn around and cancels or something. I read that bullshit. I said, "I hell no, you ain't gonna sit up in here." I said, "You a lying ass thief. You'll sit up in here picking up people and don't even and accept the ride, and you don't even pick the person up. They sit here waiting to go to work, waiting to go to, you know, to the airport or wherever they need to go, and you playing games, and then he would collect the money that way. Just as stupid." Let me see what y'all said earlier. I ain't see your McDonald's story. I got a $6 tip for McDonald's, almost passed out. What? I ain't never heard of it. Let me see. About that with the thumbs. I know, because see, let me say, Shelly, if you still on here, you don't have to give an all thumbs up to get the tip. This is how it works. I ordered food 2 Sundays ago. It was almost 2 Sundays ago, not this Sunday but the other Sunday. I ordered food, Krispy Kreme donuts, and when I got the order, I hit, you know, whatever screen. First of all, it's not even easy to get to the dang screen. First, if you saw my video, or if you remembered that video, and when it says the person, it shows the driver, and it says, do you want to give them a thumbs up, thumbs down? Then if you give them a thumbs up, then it takes you to, you have to scroll down, and then it takes you to the tip, and it gives you an option. It says tipping is optional, and it says $1, $5, and $10 in other. Small little letter says other. If you hit other, that means you can put $2 or put a different amount other than the denomination of 1, 5, or 10. So once you leave them a tip, then it asks you for the third step. How would you rate the restaurant? Then you give the restaurant a thumbs up, thumbs down. And then after that, when you give the restaurant a thumbs up, thumbs down, it'll ask you about, yeah, you don't get, if you give a driver a thumbs up and leave him a tip, because that comes before you rate the restaurant and the food. So those are two different things. You leave a tip after you give the person a thumbs up or thumbs down. You don't even have to give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You could skip that, and then you scroll down, you can leave a tip. You don't have to give them a thumbs up for it to trigger the tip option. If anything, you have to first get to the option where it gives you a tip anyway, because it doesn't pop up when the person, you know, after that food was given to me, and it didn't pop up automatically about where to leave a rating for. You had to click on the order, and then it'll take you to the person for the driver with a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then you could leave them a tip. But you could always bypass the thumbs up and thumbs down, because I gave her a thumbs up. It didn't when I gave her the thumbs up, it didn't automatically pop up about the tip, because it would say skip. So you could skip the thumbs up and thumbs down, and then you could leave a tip. You don't have to, you know, everything doesn't have to be a thumbs up to leave a tip. Because the first person you get rated on is the person who delivered your food. The reason why some people may not be tipping is because it doesn't pop up automatically about leaving a tip. The only thing they get was once they Alright, I'm back. But my question is this. Good hell. Oh, so dark. If he made a video about tipping, he surely didn't say how it worked. He may have made a video about it, but it still didn't show explicit instructions on what it actually says. But I know for sure everybody did not have to get it thumbs up. The restaurant gets rated. The person who delivered the food gets rated. But you could give somebody a thumbs. You could give somebody a thumbs up. But when it takes you to the second part, when you already left the tip, once they leave that tip, you give them the option. It says tipping is optional, and it gives you the $3 choices, and then it says other amount. Look at this dang gray on my chin. It's so aggravating. If you give them a other tip other than the specified denominations, then you can skip that part and don't leave a tip. But if you leave a tip, then it takes you, and then you get a second receipt as a customer. When I left the person, when I left the person the tip, it gave me an email showing me the tip that was charged to me, and a second email. So I got the first email I got initially shows my order, booking fee, and everything. But when I left the tip, I got a second email showing the total amount including the tip. Now once I leave the tip and it takes me to rate the restaurant, no, it rates the food. It asks you about the food, then it asks you to rate the restaurant. So I don't know, maybe someone made a video that I didn't watch yet, but I think I did see his video. He was smoking a cigarette and he was talking about being in line with somebody that paid in cash, and how they didn't you know, they was looking at all the bills and everything else. Now I know that might have been discussed, but his video never did show how you tip on the app as a customer. But I know I did it myself personally. I ordered food personally, and and when I went through the motions on that iPhone, the very first thing you have to do is figure out how to even get to that screen to allow you to rate the how to rate the driver. And then you got to scroll to the next part to leave them the tip. That is the part. Now, like I said, since I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks, this will be the third week that I did Uber Eats when he took me back. I received the very first week, I got about 20 something dollars in cash tips, and then I got about 20 something dollars on the app. This past one that I just finished, I got $18. So sometimes those tips may come in a couple of days later, because I know yesterday this white girl who I already delivered to her once before. She said, "Oh, I tipped through the app." I didn't see the tip yet. So, and I know she would have left the tip, because the first time she gave me a cash tip, and then I guess the second time she went through the app and tipped. But she was very adamant about that she tipped on the app. Now I may have to wait and see. Maybe I'll get it down the road. But sometimes Uber will not calculate a tip, and then they'll catch it and see that it will process through. Because anytime you're charging a customer's credit card or debit card and they left the tip, and it may not show up on your end yet, they have to trace that payment, like who got paid for that. So they can't just keep it on their books and have all these tips and nobody's getting them. But they will, so they do have a glitch. But I'm gonna tell you, if it ever becomes a major glitch in terms of paying people out, you have to keep, I don't know, you got to keep track of it. I'm not saying Uber's gonna steal people's tips, but I won't pass it through. I won't pass it, I won't doubt it. But you know what though? I know one thing, that stupid ass Instacart. Now, that's a thieving company. Now, you want to talk about stealing? That's a stealing company. Instacart. Instacart would put service fee, the customer thinking the service fee goes to the shopper, and then they will say additional tip, as if they gave a tip the first time by putting additional. There's some lying, thieving ass people. If I ever came across a company, Instacart, you know I talk bad about Ship, but trust me, only reason why I talk bad about Ship was because they just used me during the holiday season, and then turn around trying to say that my rating was low, but then they wanted me to take all these metro orders and that nobody else didn't want to do, and the customer already mad, and they said, well, just explain to the customer. I didn't like Ship because they a bunch of two-faced bastards up there in Alabama, racist rednecks. I didn't like Ship for the very simple fact that they were not supportive to their shoppers. Now, there's some people who doing Ship, they'll swear up and down, "Ooh, I love Ship, and they so good, and they throw us some parties." Let me tell you something. That's a bunch of smoke of people's ass. Because they about to be destroyed once Amazon takes over. They all need to go. These are some 30-year-old people who came up with the idea and started bouncing off just what Uber done, and they said, "Oh, let's do this and do this like for grocery shopping." The person who started Instacart, he used to work for Amazon. He was in that development department. He was in that department that do all the apps and write all the programs and all that. He started working for Amazon and got all the knowledge, the inside knowledge of how it worked and everything, and he came up with an idea with the grocery shop, and boom. But that's going to be short-lived. That's short-lived, to be honest with you, because they just working on angel, investment money, and the biggest investor was Whole Food, and now that Amazon bought out off I'm burning up. Now that Amazon bought out Whole Foods. And then they want to pay you 40 cents an item. You know, man, that was the most biggest full of crock ever. I had put more miles on my car doing Instacart and ship. To be honest with you, I put a whole lot of miles when I was doing that grocery shopping. And trust me, someone could spend $300 worth of groceries, and you only going to get 7.5% of that, which is $25 or something like. It's not even that. 7. It ain't even that much, to be honest. And then and all that time, you don't get paid when you're sitting around waiting. You know, it's just, like I said. $22.50 plus the $5. You know, that's all that was. $27.50. Now you may think, ooh, that's a lot. Compared that, you only get $6, $7, but that doesn't. I'm telling you, that's if you have $300 worth of groceries. It ain't that many people spend $300 worth of groceries, and 99% of the time, you have to travel so far to go to that person's, zone. They lived in an area that was way out. So if there's a lot of factors involved when you think about that. If you got to go to Johns Creek and Alpharetta, and I'm talking about deep in those part of the counties and part of the metro Atlanta area, there's a lot of things you have to think about that. So, all these companies, it always got something. It's always something going on, to be honest with you. But you could make, and I'm just use that $300 example for groceries, but it's not always $300. And I'm talking about ship. Now, Instacart, on the other hand, you may be buying multiple items in that order, and it'll be about the same price, $23. And then you thinking you'll get a tip of the $300. You say, ooh, I get at least $50, $60 tip. Man, trust me, it is rare that people will actually tip 20% of the $300 they spend in groceries. I probably got that about 5 times. And trust me, that was not on a regular basis when it came to people really tipping. So this Uber tip option they got going on. Hey, Alicia. That little option with Uber, with the tip option, I knew this was going to happen. I said, ain't nobody going to tip on no Uber Eats or Uber, period. Because it's not so much that people got so used to not tipping on Uber or Uber Eats, because prior to that, I was getting tips. I was getting cash tips from people. I made some good tips in cash. So it didn't bother me if Uber didn't have a tip option at first. But if they asked me what was the biggest issue, I made that an issue that people need to tip, because sometimes I started to feel that people were being a little bit too entitled. They figured that they wanted you to go to concierge and go to condos and park your car illegally. Get out of here, mosquito. They wanted you to park your car illegally and go up on the 20-something floor and all this kind of stuff, and go downtown with no parking. And they wanted you to go to their door and give them their food. Now, I had a problem with that, because I felt that, no, you need to tip. You need to tip. Because that's a service that you didn't have to drive your car, you ain't had to burn up your gas, You didn't have to do nothing. And people felt that that's not an option to tip, because the fact that you paid with a phone, you know. And I felt that if you have to go through so much downtown Atlanta to give it to get paid and get a tip, you know, that was too much. It wasn't worth it. It ain't worth the headache. It ain't worth the headache. It ain't worth it at all. And then it was the people that you had to think about that was using the service. They're little 20, mid-20s, 30-year-olds. They think because they got this, they live in the condos and making $80,000 plus a year or whatever, and they just have this big sense of entitlement. Like, you supposed to give them their food. You supposed to drive them in your personal car and act like you a chauffeur. You supposed to, like, that's your job. And, and they think you supposed to take their shit. No boo-boo. I am an independent contractor. That means that I'm in a partnership with Grub Hub. I'm in a partnership with Uber. I'm in a partnership with Lyft and all the rest of these raggedy ass companies out there, because they want to treat you as you an employee, but then they want to put you as independent contractors. You're not negotiating the contract. I'm not negotiating the contract with these companies and say, you know what? Me personally, I want to negotiate what I get paid. I don't want to get $10 an hour minimum guarantee with Grub Hub. I want to negotiate where you're going to give me $15 an hour if I have to go downtown and go to apartment buildings and get out of my car and park illegally, or if there's no parking, I need to get $15 an hour based on those parameters. I'm not negotiating with Grub Hub. Grub Hub and all these companies already negotiated and set the terms one-sidedness, and they're going to pay you if you agree, but yet they take 35% of the money you made to pay them. But you had no negotiations in the whole entire process. You had no say-so about the pay. Now, the only reason why a tip option was added on Uber Eats and Uber platform period, all was because, and it ain't got nothing to do with no delete Uber movement either. Ain't no few, y'all ain't got that much power. These little few sprinkles of people on YouTube thinking they the geniuses of, who the hell is this? You're gonna get blocked. Asshole. You're banned. You're not gonna come up here making stupid comments. Grizzly bear, dumbass. What about that? Grizzly bear. So, we don't make decisions or make any determination as to how much we want to get paid to do these gigs. But it's your decision whether to do it or not. Nobody forced nobody to sign up to do these jobs. But hell, if you want to treat me as an independent contractor and use my resources, and you want to pay little to none, then therefore I should choose which ones that I want to accept when it comes to the app. But it doesn't work like that. Now, I just got that second letter from Grub Hub from that person who wants to file that class action suit. They sent me a letter again, because the deadline to file whether or not you wish to enter that class action suit is coming up. So before I decide, I know I said before I got signed back on with Grub Hub that I was going to join in the class action suit along with the other people to do it. Now, I may still do it, but I want to further ask some questions and speak to someone specifically about it, because it was something about you may be responsible for the legal fees. I'm not paying nobody legal fees. If they want to file it, I ain't paying no legal fees. But they said if they won, then you may be one of the ones who may get some money from it. Now, I don't know. I don't know, because I have to determine if it's going to really be a good case. And some people train of thought is they feel that I don't want to mess up a good thing. I'm still getting $10 guarantee. Grub Hub could take that away regardless of a class action suit or not, if they really wanted to. They already changed the structure about the blocks, you know, even though people are still jumping on there, turning on the app when they want to, and take the risk of